Getting bulletproof all day, every day. It's Odeshi, the Bulletproof Entrepreneur Podcast, Episode 8.
If you're ready to take your destiny into your own hands, you've come to the right place. This is Odeshi, the Bulletproof Entrepreneur, featuring interviews with the most exciting and amazing entrepreneurs across Africa. Here's your host, Chi Odogu.
Welcome back and thanks for tuning into the Bulletproof Entrepreneur Podcast. We're still going strong with our giveaways for the launch of the show. We're giving out 2 books. The Obstacle is the Way to Timeless Art of Turning Trials into Triumph by Ryan Holiday and Choose Yourself by James Altucher. So there's still 2 weeks left. If you want to get your hands on a copy of one of the books, all you have to do is leave a review on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and YouTube, and on our website, questions, your comment. For more details, go to odeshi.com. That's odeshi.com. And now, a word from our sponsors before we get on with the rest of the show.
We can all do with a little extra cash. Why not just pick up your trash? Wecyclers recycles your trash and gives you amazing prizes or cash for every kilogram of recycled material you deliver. So, pick up those cans, plastic bottles, and bags. Call Wecyclers today. Go to wecyclers.com. That's WECYCLERS.com for more details.
Hey, good evening, guys. Welcome to the show. It's Odeshi, the Bulletproof Entrepreneur. Today's guest is Bilikiss Adebiyi-Abiola. She's the CEO and co-founder of Wecyclers, a for-profit social enterprise working to help communities reclaim their neighborhoods from unmanaged waste. Bilikiss and her co-founders founded Wecyclers in 2012, and they utilize low-cost cargo bicycles called Wecycles to provide convenient recycling services to households in Lagos, Nigeria. Bilikiss, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Hi. Like you said, I'm the CEO of Wecyclers and, born and bred in Lagos. I left Lagos when I was a teenager, when I was about 17, to go to the U.S. to school. And while I was at the U.S., I had got my bachelor's and master's degree in computer science. Then went to work at IBM. For 5 years, and then after IBM, I went back to get my MBA at MIT. And it was while I was at MIT that the idea for Wecyclers came. So it was from a class that I took called Development Ventures. And the class basically focuses on people that live at the base of the pyramid, that earn less than $2 a day. And when you look at Nigeria, about 70% of Nigerians, are living in poverty. They lack access to sanitation, they lack access to bank accounts, to healthcare, and because of that, they're disproportionately affected. So we wanted to do something that would empower people, and moved back to Nigeria about 2 years ago to work on Wecyclers.
Okay, so tell us, Bilikiss, you said you had the idea in MIT while you were in graduate school. How did the idea come about to start off?
So it was so I was taking this class, and it was really random. Basically, we were taking a class, and one of the prerequisites for this class was one of those easy classes that basically you don't have to show up to class. Okay. You just come once in a while. So it was something that was the best kept secret in school, was that at least you can get your credits and still you can have a good time, and at least, because school is really stressful, so you need that buffer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then you find yourself basically you can find yourself being drawn to the class. They had so many cool people flying in from all over the world, working on really amazing things. And some of the things, what I discovered was that there were so many people that were working in Africa, working on the issues that face our people, but they don't look like us. That was the first thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was thinking, where are the African people that are solving these problems, They say malaria is killing everybody, there's no job, but it's not African people that are doing it, And then the second thing that struck me was that, there were so many people in the class that just wanted to just do something and make a change. So I got sucked into this group of people that had this idea. And we just, had, a really nice time just talking and coming up with ideas. And, we submitted our concept to, for our final grade, and we got a good grade, and we just decided to run with it.
Okay, so you whittled down from several ideas to one, or you started with this one, and then you ran with it?
We started with one, and then we just started, kind of debating amongst ourselves. Because the idea, first of all, was some people that started it off and said, okay, we're going to do waste for water. And then, I was looking for a group to join, and I joined the group, and I said, oh, the African people, because I'm from Africa. I was the only one from Africa, and I said, African people don't want water. They have water. They want something, they want to be able to choose. Even if there's water, they let them have the choice. So we came up with, incentives, let them be able to choose what they want. And then we had the idea of, instead of having, because we thought it was going to be a mobile, like a kiosk.
Okay.
But then we came up with the idea of using a mobile system. So it was when I went to Nigeria and I did my research on the ground that we now discovered that we should use bicycles.
That's interesting. Okay, so you wrapped it up, you handed in your project, and then what happens next after graduation? Because you were an engineer. First of all, you're an African also, so your family knows that you've gone to a great school, MIT. You are an engineer. You're leaving, a potentially well-paid or several potentially well-paying jobs in engineering to come and do waste management.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy when you say it like that. But I think it was just like, I did an internship while I was at MIT. I worked for IBM for 5 years. I mean, I made the money. I had opportunity to have a job. Mm-hmm. I've worked for somebody, and I just didn't like it. IBM is an amazing company, but I just, in any organization, it's like, you kind of, if you don't control, if you're not a manager, you don't control what's going on. Maybe you don't like what you're working on. I wanted to just do something. And I like talking to people. I like interacting with people. I want to have people near me. So that's why I said, okay, let me go and get my MBA. But then I did an internship in a consulting company. And it was like from 9 to 11 p.m., sometimes 1 a.m. every day. And sometimes my boss would give me something to do. And the next day, he'll say, oh, we're not doing that. Let's do something else. And so the whole day, I think what I did was not useful. I wanted to kill myself. So I said, no, this is crazy. I'm not doing this. And then luckily for me, my husband is very, very supportive. And I just, I had people calling me, trying to headhunt me to, before I graduated. And I said, I'm not doing this. I'm going to work on Wecycles. And I feel like something was pulling me. It was like, when something is supposed to, I don't know how to describe it, but it was just something that was supposed to happen.
Yes.
And I just had this calmness. It's kind of like you have to, when you're doing this thing, it's like, it's never easy. There's no, if you talk to someone like Dangote, it wasn't like, he was relaxing and chilling. And it's hard. I remember days when we work on Wecyclers, we have something due. You can't sleep at night. You have to work on this. But you just have to, just keep going. Just keep going. And we made it to the other side.
Okay. So now tell us about you moving back to Nigeria to start Wecycles. What were some of the challenges you faced? Like, you alluded to some of the hard days. What were some of the hard days? Be specific. Give us an example.
Okay, anyways. So the first example, I have 2 kids. So I didn't decide until the way it works is, in America is, when it's second term, schools have 3 terms. Second term, they'll ask you, do you want to come back for next year, for the following, year? And we have signed and said, yeah, we're going to come back. We're going to stay in America. But then I kept on thinking, talking to my husband, and we're like, what, I need to go and start this thing now. So I had to pull my kids out of school. I had to break my lease. Because I just woke up one day and said, no, I'm moving back. So the challenges were, of course, trying to unwind my kids from school, trying to look for a school for them, those personal things. But then when you look at actually in the company, in terms of being an entrepreneur, it was, we had to look for money. How are you going to pay for this? So we had to spend a lot of time, trying to find opportunities for funding in, business plan competitions, trying to make those vital connections, on the ground in Nigeria, and just trying to figure out more of the specifics of what we were doing. One of the things was I don't know anything about bicycles. I don't even know how to change. I don't know anything. I can't even
So you had no experience with bicycles to start with, and your company is fundamentally run with bicycles.
Exactly. So that was the kind of, uncertainty we faced. It's like we knew we wanted bicycles. And we're like, okay, so what are we going to do? Because we don't even know what the bicycle looks like. We had no clue. But we just kept on. I think one of the things that we did, and I have to give me and my colleague Alex, was we didn't give up. We'll research. We'll go online. Okay, this person does bicycles. Okay, let's go and talk to this person. So we'll go and have coffee with that person. Okay, let's email this person.
Was in Nigeria or outside Nigeria?
Outside Nigeria, in America.
Okay.
So I was very lucky. We're lucky about that. And we're living in Boston, so there's a lot of there's a bicycle culture there. So we'll go to the bicycle shops. We'll hang out with the bicycle experts. And then we built this little community around us on bicycles, and we're able to find the person that actually designed and built the Wecycle. His name is Jack Whipple. So we met him and we got him to come to Nigeria to build a Wecycle for us.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so now you have a bicycle manufacturing plant also?
No. I guess I wouldn't call it that, but we have a way of building our bicycles.
Okay, so he did knowledge transfer basically, and you have people that can make bicycles for Wecyclers. Yeah,
so we have a welder that can just basically he came, did it, and then our welder just copied his design.
Okay.
And improved on it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so go on. You said financial challenges and personal challenges. What other challenges did you face?
It's also, I would say, it's kind of, when you're working somewhere that's, one of the challenges I would say is we're not on the ground early. I think that was a good and bad thing. It was good because we had a chance to step back, think about everything, plan. Because when we got on the ground, because we started working on research, in January of 2012, but we didn't get to Nigeria till August.
Okay.
So, we had like 7 to 8 months of planning and calling and thinking and freaking out. So, but when we now did it, it was easier. So it was hard. I remember there were days I would be crying myself in my room, like, oh my, what am I doing? Am I going crazy? But it worked out.
Okay, that's interesting. So you get to Nigeria, you have these challenges, you're knocking them down one by one. You kick off Wecyclers. What type of support did you get from the government, for example? Because waste management, at least in the U.S., it's highly contingent upon, municipal rules and regulations. So, like in Lagos where you operate, what type of support did you get from the government? Did you get tax credits or some type of incentives to help you guys kick off the project?
The government has been awesome. We're lucky. We made contact with the Ministry of Environment, they are the ones in charge of waste management, and LOMA, which is an agency, Lagos Waste Management Authority, runs the waste. So we were able to connect with them, and they've been amazing. The LOMA managing director, is an advisor for us. We always go to him with questions. They gave us actually more than tax credits, I think, is they actually gave us free access to their sites. So, in our model, we have to have a location close to the houses that we serve so that we can kind of aggregate the waste before we sell it. So he gave us access to their sites. They even sponsored 5 Wecycles, and we're working with them to expand to other parts of Lagos. So they've been amazing with kind of just helping us to refine the idea and also just giving us the opportunity to leverage on their network and their infrastructure.
That's interesting. And do you have any competitors in the industry right now?
I would say yes. There's other recycling companies that are collecting. I wouldn't say we're competitors, because we're so small and we're so, it's a big market. But I would say other people are in the space. There's companies like Recycle Points that I respect very much, and and it's a really great market, I think, and we need more people in the waste space.
Okay.
Because people don't think it's cool. People always say, one of my one of my family, extended family members was calling me kole kole because I'm doing in Yoruba. It's kind of a derogatory word they use for people that pick waste.
Okay.
And and I'm thinking, what is wrong with us as Nigerians? Why do we feel that everybody likes to be working for a bank
or oil company or something like that?
Exactly. Why? Why do we have to stick to all this? This pattern. Unless you see something on the floor, it's dirty. Like Nigeria is the only country I've seen that we don't really have that many trash cans. Have you noticed?
Yes, I have. I noticed that I was in Nigeria Christmas break, and everywhere I went, even some of the eateries too, it was difficult to find a trash can.
Exactly. It's crazy. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So why are we, and why don't we want to? We see things staring us in the face. And then when we now said the Wecyclers, people now said, I've been having this idea. I had this idea. And I said, I feel like the culture in Nigeria doesn't let you go against the grain. They want you to be stuck. Yes. They want you to kind of like be paralyzed. We need to stop that.
So you pushed against the grain and you're doing this unusual business. Did you have any sort of friction or pushback with operators in the industry?
No, I think people are the operators are really nice. I mean, they are the ones that are doing the hard work.
Okay.
When you look at them, they are the ones that are going out there every day collecting waste and really making it something that people in Lagos don't even have to think about, because it's your waste. You don't have to worry about your waste because people are actually there cleaning up, So I think they are doing an amazing job. Okay. I would say we just need, as a woman, when you look at being a woman boss, it's challenging, of course, because we are a male-dominated society. Men always get things done because I'm sorry if men don't agree with me, but it's something that we see as women. It's just that you kind of have to work a little bit harder. You have to have a little bit of a thicker skin. Because some things will happen and you're wondering, what is this? But you just got to, roll with the punches and, keep going.
Okay. And I think I read somewhere that roughly 60% of the daily waste generated in Lagos is uncollected. Is that an accurate statistic or?
I would say it's not formally collected.
Okay. So could you explain further?
So basically, the way it works is that, Lagos, we generate about 10,000 tons of waste every day, but when you look at, like the organized areas, like the Ikoyis and the Kejas, their waste gets collected. But when you now look at the slums, like Makoko or something like that, first of all, for somebody to come and collect your waste in these areas, you have to pay. Wherever, if you are living somewhere and you have this waste, it's actually a service.
Yes.
And you have to pay for the service. And the reason why you pay for the service is because somebody is actually gone and gotten investment. He has invested in trucks. He has employees that he's paying. He has all these costs that he has to pay for. But then in some of these other lower income areas, people don't really pay for the waste collection. So because of that, then it's difficult for somebody to go and collect that waste from them. So you have that disconnect where somebody wants to give a service, but because people are unable or unwilling to pay, the service cannot be rendered. And then so some people now would have to resort to, giving these cart pushers or those kinds of things. So I'm not saying that there's really no waste collection happening. It's happening, but it's not, in the lower income areas, it's not 100% because of so many challenges. Some people will say, I don't want to do it. I'm going to get rid of my waste myself. Or, maybe there's some challenges with the road network, whatever it is, whatever the case may be, we have those issues.
Okay. And your company is focused on addressing these issues in the lower income areas, correct?
Yes, we were focusing on the lower income areas first.
Okay.
So it was actually deliberate because we wanted to empower them.
Okay.
So we could have done a recycling program in a higher income area, because people actually tell us, hey, why don't you come to my neighborhood? I want to recycle too, but we feel like, people are servicing them. We want to go somewhere where people actually need what we are giving them.
Okay.
And we've been able to change lives. I mean, we have people that redeem their waste, and this money or this gift that they get from us is huge. I've had someone that got money, and she used it to she was sick, and she used her money to take care of herself. I've had people that use their whatever they redeemed in their shop. So like someone got a generator, and she's going to use it in her shop to power her fridge. So basically, people are really seeing the value. They are really, it's actually something that is making a difference in their life, And it's really powerful. And apart from the material things that they get, they always tell us, they didn't really make that connection. The first problem is in many of these instances is that just there's low awareness. They don't understand. They don't know. So the people will say, since Wecyclers has been coming to my neighborhood, wow, this place is cleaner. There is less mosquito. When it's it's raining, there's no flood, because now they are seeing and they are understanding. It's like practical. When you are in science class, you have to do theory, you have to do practical. Yes. We're actually giving them practical, so they are learning on the real time.
Okay. So now let's talk about your business model, because I looked at it a little bit and I found it interesting. You incorporated a sort of gamification to waste management. Could you talk about how you implement this waste for points and eventually redemption for gifts and cash?
Yeah, so I think the way it worked was it was actually initially something that we did to, like I said earlier, it was to give people the choice. We wanted to be able to have something a system that people could say, look, guys, I want, I want to use my points, but, kind of have that option. So we had this, we have a software which is built, in-house. I'm a software person, so I'm all about software. So we had someone that came in and built our software in-house. His name is Jonathan Kohler. And so what happens is, somebody registers to Wecyclers, and we put them on a route. So we'll say, okay, you registered and you're on ABC Street, so we're going to come on Wednesday to pick from you. So our Wecycler will come on Wednesday, pick up from the person, and then they would weigh the waste. So for every kind of waste, we collect 3 kinds of waste currently: plastic bottles, pure water sachets, and cans. They would weigh each waste, and then they would record it. Right now, we use paper. There's a reason. I'll come back to that later. We will record it on our piece of paper, take it to our hub. Then somebody will input it into the system, and within a day or two, they will get an SMS alert saying, on Wednesday we came to your house and we got these kinds of waste from you, and because of that, you have these total points. So that happens every week. Your point balance increases based on how much waste you are giving us. And then every 3 months, we open it up to our subscribers, and they can actually trade in their points for a prize. So they'll say, okay, we have a list. So we have things that range from generators to a small bowl, bucket, blender, Indomie carton, or even cash. They'll trade in their points for those prizes. And, and that's how it works. Or if they say, okay, if they don't like anything we have, they'll say, okay, I'll wait, and I'll just, push it, I'll roll it over to the next cycle. Okay. So every 3 months they have the choice. And that kind of gives us an opportunity to kind of see, okay, what do people like? What are they, maybe people like blenders, or they don't like this particular thing. We are able to see from the data, because I'm all about data. I want to see facts. We see the data, we see what people are exchanging for. What are people's, preferring, And initially we said we're only going to do gifts. We're going to do in kind. We're only going to do in kind because we didn't want it to be transactional. We didn't want people to say, okay, I want money. Mm-hmm. But then we got on ground, and the people said, no, you can't tell me. You can't dictate to me. I want my money. So we had to realize, we had to just be flexible and say, okay, guys, okay, you can take your money.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you recycle plastic plastic bottles, water sachets, and cans. Mm-hmm. So what happens to those three inputs? You sell them to the you sell them back to the manufacturers. 'Cause I'm trying to think of how you would redeem. Let's say if a client turns in, let's call it 20 pounds of plastic bottles, where would you get the cash to give to them?
That's a good question. So what we do is we basically take the plastic bottles, and, we'll bale it, compress it or whatever. Then we'll sell it to somebody. There are recyclers in Nigeria that would use those materials to make something. So they give us money.
Okay.
So we'll now use the money. And because it's delayed, because it's every 3 months, that gives us the opportunity to kind of like rack up the money.
Okay.
So when it's time, we'll just use their money and give back to them. So they get a share of what we sell.
Okay, so it's almost kind of like profit sharing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like profit sharing. They're getting a share of what we... So, and if we say, plastic bottle prices have gone up, then we will adjust their points. So next time you give us a plastic bottle, you actually get more points.
Oh, wow. So this is all happening in real time, and it's not fixed. Because some would even say you wouldn't need to do that since the points are already the points, and you could make more profit out of that, but you adjust it without even the clients knowing the hard data behind what you're doing.
Yeah, we will tell them, hey, we are adjusting it. Because we do it because, one of the reasons we do it is because, so now we see that, okay, there's a demand for something. And we want people to kind of give us more of that.
Yes.
So we'll raise the price so that they'll see, if I give you more of this, I'll get more, So we can actually control the flow. Or if we say, okay, we don't want any more of this thing. We don't really, it's too much trouble. We'll reduce the price. So then people will now reduce their activity around that product.
Okay. That's very interesting. So why is your recording system still paper-based as opposed to electronic? Because you're a software engineer. I'd expect you to have your guys with iPads or tablets or something.
Man, people are not there. People we work with, we actually have an app already designed. It's a mobile app that we can use to input but people see it and they say, no, I don't want you to put it on the computer. I want to see the paper. I want the paper. They want to see the paper. We have a lot of people that are elderly people that are registered to our service, and they're just not used to computers.
Okay.
So we kind of have to, understand them and cater to their needs. But we hope very soon to push them in that direction.
Okay.
But it's kind of also like listening to your market. They want to see the paper.
And you just give the market what they want.
Exactly.
Okay. So I want to focus on your recycling process a little bit. So you only take plastic bottles, water sachets, which is like PET, polythene bags.
LDP, yeah.
Yeah. And cans. What about other types of recyclable waste like old mobile phones, computers, TVs, stuff like that? Or
I think it was we were being opportunistic, so we just went for things that we know that, first of all, we know that, okay, metal, we didn't look at heavy metals like steel, because people are already doing that.
Good, okay.
But we now said, okay, what is actually a nuisance? What is causing the most problem? It's kind of, we wanted to solve a problem that we see around, in the communities. And we see more and more, it's plastic. It's mainly plastic, it's mainly sachets and then cans as well. So we said, okay, let's do that. Let's make sure we can make a viable business around those things. And then we can now add things as we go along.
Okay.
Because we just didn't want to get bogged down.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're slowly now, we're actually looking at targeting. So for paper, we're actually introducing paper, but just for companies. Because it's mostly companies that generate paper anyway.
So households do not generate paper waste. It mostly be what? Food?
They do. Yeah, food. Yeah, the households generate paper, but not as much as, like an office,
Yes. And currently in Nigeria, there's no one doing paper recycling?
There are companies that do. For example, there's a company in Ikeja that uses paper to make tissue.
Okay.
Yes.
That's interesting, Bilikiss. But let's take a minute to thank our sponsors before we get on with the rest of the interview.
We can all do with a little extra cash. Why not just pick up your trash? Wecyclers recycles your trash and gives you amazing prizes or cash for every kilogram of recycled material you deliver. So, pick up those cans, plastic bottles, and bags. Call Wecyclers today. Go to wecyclers.com, that's WECYCLERS.com for more details. Hey guys, have I got some exciting news for you today? Did you know that your sense of smell is one of the most powerful memory triggers ever? Doctors have determined that you are 10 times as likely to remember an event if it's strongly attached to a particular scent or fragrance. So, the next time you're looking to purchase a souvenir for one of your milestone events, like a birthday, wedding, or naming ceremony, why not commemorate the event with a unique fragrance? La Fema Kuch is Nigeria's premier bespoke perfumistas. They will work with you to create a fragrance that is truly unique and complementary to your occasion. So, when the last bottle of champagne is popped and those final photos are taken, give your guests a gift they will truly remember. Give them the gift of a lifetime. Give them the scent of the occasion. La Fema Kuch, that's LAFEMEACCOUTRE, bespoke perfumistas.
Given the fact you're doing so much good in the society, generating jobs, because you've just told me you have your collectors, you also have people that make bikes for you. Mm-hmm. Why is it that it's still not quite as embraced as maybe some of the other mainstay occupations?
Yeah, I think you've alluded to that. I think it's just first of all, it's a green field, it's a new area, so people don't really understand or know much about it. But then they're used to mostly like the petroleum, they're used to all those industries, But I think in Nigeria we are at that level where there's a shift happening. People are seeing we need to care for our environment. When you look at all this flooding that's going on, you see. The climate is changing. People are waking up to the reality of the because and I actually to let me bring it closer to home. I personally I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not the kind of person. I'm not the kind of person that would I'm not going to have these people that don't have any imprint, zero carbon footprint, blah blah. I'm not that kind of person. But I'm seeing as I'm doing this, we have to really care about our environment. It's really a big problem if we don't address it.
Okay. So now let's focus on the business as a whole. Is Wecyclers making money? Are you profitable?
We're not profitable, but we're making money. We make money from the sale of the material.
Okay.
But we're not profitable because, several reasons. We are not big enough.
Okay.
But we're still 2 outlets. We just have about 25 Wecycles. So, it's still small. And then we haven't started adding value to the collected recyclables like, shredding and those kinds of things. But we're going to start doing that now.
Okay. So how would you go about raising funding to scale up? Because I saw here that you recently won an award. That's the Cartier Women's
Initiative Award. And we also just recently got mentioned. We actually selected as it's called the Sustainia 100 list of 100 sustainable companies from all around the world. So we're on that list as well.
Wow.
We're very happy.
Congrats.
Thank you. So money, I think we are now actually raising money now. Okay. We're trying to raise a substantial amount of money that would help us to do all the things that I said, grow, and also to add value.
Okay.
And we now have started talking to investors, impact investors.
Okay.
That would want to invest in us.
So that would be what social
impact,
social enterprise, private equity, or venture capital companies.
It could be social impact, like or media network, acumen, or even angel investors. So wealthy individuals that have extra money that they want to invest in and make a difference. Okay. So those kinds of people, they will all come together and they would fund us.
Okay. And are those people primarily based in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, or it's a mix? It's a mix.
We have people like in Nigeria, we have Tony Elumelu Foundation. They're doing really great work. So we have a lot of people.
Based on your experience for the past 2 years, what would you go back and whisper to yourself to focus on, or to do, or to watch out for?
I think I will tell myself to push more, because I think I'm learning that now more and more, is that I don't push as much. I'm more of, okay, I'll let that person realize that I'm doing something good, but now you have to grab things. So I'll tell that person, oh yeah, go and talk to that guy and tell him. And if he says no, ask him again, are you sure? Push back. So I would tell myself to push back and don't take things personally. I actually we're working through so many things, and you get rejections all around. Yeah. Recently, just yesterday, we got another rejection. I've been working on this proposal for about a year now, and I'm telling you, I was just devastated. But I took a second and I thought about it, and I said, you know what, I'm not giving up. So I'll tell myself, don't give up, and push more.
Okay. So which entrepreneur embodies that spirit of doggedness and never give up, never quit that you admire?
Entrepreneur.
Or who do you admire with that, same zeal and spirit that you would like to emulate as you're running your company?
I would say they are different people. It's not just one person.
Okay, so talk to us about them.
I would say look at this guy, Paul Graham of Y Combinator.
Okay.
In Silicon Valley. He's amazing. He had a really hard time when he first started, and he could have easily walked away with being a rich man after he sold his company, but he decided to go back and help. And then I was reading an article, because one thing about me is that when I have an issue, I go and research it. So I was reading about failure and rejection, and I read about, the person that wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul got rejected so many times.
Jack Canfield, right?
Yeah, Jack Canfield got rejected so many times. I think it was 40 times or 41 times. Yeah. There's so many people like that. And I think there was one person that they asked, and they said, they said, okay, what is your secret? And he said, I just kept on going. Whenever they said no, just keep going, because all I need is one yes. So.
And so I guess that will lead us to our next question. What type of books do you read in general?
To be honest, I prefer reading fiction.
Fiction?
Yeah, I fly through fiction. I love fiction. I love my favorite book. I love Nigerian, Afro or ethnic fiction, like people like, of course, Chimamanda. I love Chimamanda. I love people like. My favorite book is The Joys of Motherhood by Buchi Emecheta. I love Jhumpa Lahiri. She's from Asia. Those kinds of books, Twilight, Hunger Games. But I have to read business books.
You have to.
To survive and be a good manager. So I read, I just finished reading Poor Economics. And that was amazing. That was an amazing book. Yeah, so I read, I go through them a bit slower, but I do finish them. But I love fiction.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. You're probably the first guest I've interviewed that has mentioned fiction. And the next question I would have for you is this. So what would you tell recent grads that are coming out of university, wrapping up their final year, or somebody that is brand new that wants to come into Africa and start and launch a venture, whether it's in the recycling industry or any other industry? What's the piece of advice you'd want them to focus on or to hold on to?
I think it's actually two pieces. So the first one, for the people that are just finished school and they're kind of thinking what they want to do, I would strongly say that they should volunteer.
Volunteer.
And possibly volunteer with the company that they admire, that they would like to, or in a field that they would like to learn more about. And I got this from a book, The Mastery.
Yes, Robert Greene.
And one of the things he was saying was, you kind of have to, learn.
Be an apprentice, right?
Be an apprentice. And, many times people are looking for that paycheck, they want to get that money.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to kind of, hunker down and pay your dues, and you learn a lot. Some of the coolest people that I've ever met are people that came to me and said, "Hey, I want to be a free volunteer." But I find that when they come and volunteer for me, they have access to me because I just admire them for doing that, and I end up paying them because I feel so bad about that. But then you know what I'm saying? So they gain the benefits in two ways. So I think it's amazing, and it's cool if people should just try and take that risk and do it for the experience. And then second will be for people that want to move back to Nigeria, is don't commit to anything. Some of the best connections I've made was just meeting people in their office, meeting CEOs and officials, and even just regular people, and just talking to them and learning more about the Nigerian, the landscape. So just make sure you set up a lot of meetings, tell a lot of people about what you're doing, and you will be amazed at what happens.
They are open and willing to accommodate you if you want to set up meetings and talk to them.
I've been pleasantly surprised. People are amazing. If the person doesn't have time, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yes.
But people I've seen people, of course you have to network and see who knows who, and, get an introduction, or just, I've had people that are just, email out of the blue, like, they don't know me from anywhere. There's a man I emailed about 2 weeks ago. He doesn't know me from Adam. And I emailed him and I said, "Hey, I'm coming to Abuja and I want to talk about your organization. I think it's amazing." And he made himself available, and he was amazing. You never know. Some people are really, really, many people in Nigeria are just great, wonderful. Like, we're a really wonderful country. People are really nice. So you should do that, schedule as many meetings as possible with people, and just tell them about what you're doing, tell them about the problems you're facing, and, see what comes out of it.
That's interesting. And I guess my final question would be this. If you had to sit down and talk to one entrepreneur that you really admire in the world today, what question would you ask them, and why?
I would say, what was your biggest regret? What do you regret the most?
Okay. And why would you ask that?
Because I'm a mom, and I fear that many people that are successful entrepreneurs, that's my fear, is that they have to do so at the expense of family life.
Family life, okay.
Yeah. So I want to talk to somebody like, Meg Whitman, or what's this woman's name again? The Yahoo. Marissa Maya, and this Sheryl Sandberg, and say, tell me be real with me. Don't give me any of that, sprinkle stuff that you put in your books. Tell me the truth. What is your biggest regret as a mom?
Okay. That's interesting. And you personally, do you find time? How do you balance your work life? Yeah.
It's a daily, balancing act. My husband has been amazing because he's actually had more experience in business. So I end up trying to just work at the expense of family. But he always reminds me and forces me to make more time for family. Okay. Which is great. So I just, because, you have to realize that, that's the most important thing. Is family. It's not even only children. It's your family, your parents, your sisters. So I think there was an article or where I read. Well, it's a story. They said, in life everything is balls. The golf balls, the big balls, is your family. So you put that into a jar first. then your work is the smaller balls. Okay. And then, so you make sure that the family balls come first.
Okay.
Family comes first.
And your husband, what does he do?
He's a businessman, so he's an entrepreneur as well.
Wow. So I guess your kids have no choice but to follow in the family footsteps.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's good. Well, Bilikiss, we've reached the end of the show. I just want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us and to inspire our listeners. It's been a pleasure learning about your business, your experience, the wonderful advice you've given us. And we wish you continued success with Wecyclers, and definitely look forward to talking to you sometime down the road and see how things have gone, because most of the companies I've talked to thus far, just like you, almost everybody started within a 2-3 year window. So most of the new fast rising entrepreneurs are just, I guess you would call them baby entrepreneurs, because their companies are very, very young, but there's still so much room to grow. And I know your company has a lot more giant strides to make in the market that you're working in. So we just want to thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So with that said, guys, just listen to Bilikiss' advice, Focus on family, focus on the big balls, and then manage the small balls, because you don't want to have those regrets of not spending those quality time with, your parents, your siblings, and your kids. Okay. So this is Chibuzo Odogu with the Bulletproof Entrepreneur, signing off.
Don't let another minute go by without taking action to change your life. Visit Odeshi.com right now for more incredible resources, and we'll see you next time on Odeshi, the Bulletproof Entrepreneur.